There can be only one podcast, and may it be the Prince of the Universe. Hi, folks, I'm Matt, and I'm on my new laptop, I think 100% of the time now. Rarely going to use my old laptop. The only reason I was using it because it still had access to my mixer, which now I have access. Figured it out on my own, actually. Benjamin texted after the fact that I had found it. But here we are. I'm on my own today. It's my fault. I am way too busy to schedule time with Brandon, Heath, or Wes. Bruce may not be a partner going forward. I mean, every once in a while he will, but he is working, 80 hours a week. So he really doesn't, I talked to him yesterday, he really doesn't have the time anymore to come on. So every once in a while, every blue moon, when he has the chance, he'll come on. But it looks like it's just going to be between those guys, which I'm happy. I'm happy for. They couldn't do it this week because I couldn't do it this week. If you don't know, right now, EU March Madness is going on the website, and I am very, very busy with that. That is keeping me super busy. I'm hoping next week maybe to have them over. I'll have a little bit more time. But my goodness, is my schedule packed right now with tons of stuff to do. And speaking of which, we're going to talk about a little bit about that today. As you know, I'll get to that in a minute. I have seen two movies. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about two movies. I don't think Wes or anyone else has seen, which I'm totally fine with. So one of the movies that I saw, not in theaters, I do want to see Frozen Empire, and probably this week I will go see Frozen Empire, probably. Because I really want to see it. The first new reboot was pretty good. My wife was a big fan of it. So she wants to watch the next one, so we will. But I did watch two movies on straight to DVD or streaming or whatnot. And of course, the first one we're going to talk about, Madam Web. Oh yes, you're like, Matt, why'd you watch it? Well, I was bored. I'm really bored right now. I have caught up on all my reading. There is one thing I'm thinking every time I go to the library. I love to read. I am out of books. Right now. It's never happened to me before. Now, I'm tempted to go walk back through Middle-earth because I always go back to my fallback Lord of the Rings. This will be, I believe, the first year I have not read any Tolkien. Last year I read a little bit of Tolkien, the poems of Tom Bombadil and Bilbo's Song, which is very short. Just read a little bit, but I got my little mix of Tolkien in there. I've done so every year since the pandemic. So for the past, 4 years now, yay, I have walked through, all of the Tolkien stuff. And it is maybe time for a break. I am feeling, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, which is what I usually do. But over the past few years, I read the Silmarillion. Then I read some of those new books, which were just the history of Middle-earth, cleaned up a little bit better. Then I actually read the history of Middle-earth in 2020, I think 2. And then 2023, I read just the rest of the Lanyap stuff that was out there. And man, like I said, I'm feeling another run, but I want to see what else is out there. I've gone by the library several times asking for very popular books that are on Amazon, but they don't have them. My cousin was even stumped because he was positive he could find me just about any book to download, e-digital. These books are not digital, and he can't understand it because later books by these authors are. Some of the earlier stuff isn't. He said, well, give me another one. So I've given him another one, gone to the library. He said, check the library. Library has older books like that. No one has them. Don't ask me what authors. I can't remember now, but past few weeks I've asked to read these book series. My dad had these books, and I really liked them. Well, when I looked at them, I saw they were part of a series. I went, oh, well, this is part 1 and part 2. Let me see where I can find the other parts. No, it's part 3 and 4 of a 6-part series. I didn't even know that. I don't think my dad knew that he bought part 3 and 4 of a series. So those books, they're not expensive to get. They're, regular like $24.95 on Amazon, and it looks like they've been reprinted before, but no library carries them. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then same thing with another one I try to look for too. So no luck there. I am thinking about rereading a few other things. There's a few other not books, but comic books. My wife's hardback collection of Walking Dead. But I don't know if I'm feeling Walking Dead right now. And I definitely don't want to reread the books. I think I'm done reading the books. Anyway, and I'm not rewatching anything else but the Clone Wars, and that I'm taking in stride. So I have some extra time to kill in between here and there. So Madam Web, I watched for the past few days, and it's as bad as everyone said. I knew it was going to be bad. I wasn't expecting anything, but I want to know what it was about. And folks, it's it's awful, but it's mind-boggling how the people involved in the film, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? I mean, honestly, the thing should have never seen the light of day. I mean, they should have just canned it like Batgirl, like Warner Bros. Did Batgirl. I mean, it's just really bad. It's embarrassing. It cheapens your brand. It makes the whole Sony universe look like cheap garbage. I mean, why would it's in it was like a Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie coming out. I mean, it's really it reminds me of the movie. I've never seen this, but the movie Steel with Shaquille O'Neal. It's so far off the mark of the comic books. It's like, what were they thinking? What was the studio thinking? The studio just knew there was a guy named Steel and he was black and he was large. So let's make Shaquille O'Neal Steel, but let's not make it like the comic book because I don't want to read the comic book. That's exactly what they did when they made Madam Web. It's like they saw a picture of her. They got they read a 2-paragraph, maybe 1-paragraph synopsis of who she was and decided to make a movie, but not make it based on the comic books. I mean, it's really weird. Like she's a paramedic, and it's about paramedic stuff. Honestly, the weirdest scene in this is she is teaching the girl. This is their bonding moment. This is how they learn to trust her, and they all become friends as she's teaching them CPR. There's a montage of her teaching them CPR. I wish I was making this up. I am not making it up. And you know what happens? Guess what? At the end, Madam Web needs CPR. So the girls, who have no superpowers whatsoever, but they will in the future, supposedly, they all have the power of CPR, and they all take turns giving CPR. When one girl's arms gets tired, the other girl steps on in. You know, they say, remember how she told us to do it. Remember how she trained us. Yeah, remember how she trained you to do CPR. It's not like Karate Kid where you learn the crane kick and everything, wax on, wax off. They were learning CPR. It was like a safety video. That's really what it felt like. And it was like so far out of nowhere. And the bad guy, the villain, the whole synopsis of the storyline is the villain sees the future where these girls, the only time they're in costumes is in these very, very small flashbacks. There's maybe 1 minute, maybe 50 seconds of them in costumes. It's all in flashbacks. Maybe, I'm being kind, 50 seconds. Probably 35 overall, 35 seconds of them in costume in the whole movie. And it's in flashback or flash forwards. So he's in the future. He sees the 3 girls destroying him. Well, now he must kill them before they, it's like Terminator, okay? So now he must kill them before they grow up to kill him. They don't know who he is. They don't know why they're after him. In fact, Madam Web didn't even know this guy exists. But now that he does, she realized, oh, you killed my mother. So now you're trying to kill these girls, and I must kill you. Okay. But then it turns out that Madam Web does kill him. But before she kills him, says, yes, these girls you thought were your future, and they were responsible for your death. But it was me the whole time. What do you mean? You didn't even know it existed before the movie. Before he started attacking the girls, I don't understand what is going on. And I was like, it was so, because he's got this like confused, scared face, like, oh no. But I'm confused too, going, what? What are they talking about here? What was the point of this movie? And the bad guy is dressed like Spider-Man. He's black and red, but he's in a Spider-Man costume. Why? And of course, there's the whole thing that, I don't know, Ben Parker. There's no Easter egg in the trailer. In the credits, before, in between, or after. And this girl goes, Ben's sister-in-law or whatever, or sister, I don't know, I'm not really sure. Ben Parker, Uncle Ben, his sister or whatever, like I said, sister-in-law, goes into labor. What's the baby's name? Of course, it's Peter. But why didn't you just do an Easter egg on that one? And by the way, it couldn't be Peter Parker from Sony Universe because this happened in 2003. So he'd have been 30. Or 20, yeah, I don't know. 2003, 20. Yeah, but he's still, I don't know. He's still in high school. I don't get it. I really don't understand the movie. I think the movie is just, it's so awful. It's so awful. I don't know. I bet it's like mind-bogglingly stupid. Like, what were they thinking? I cannot believe it. It's amazing. It's amazing how bad this is. No wonder Dakota Fanning fired her agents after this. It was such an embarrassment. Such an embarrassment. Sony should be ashamed of themselves. Take themselves to the woodshed and whoop themselves is what they should be doing. Awful movie. Okay, another one I saw just last night with my nephew. My nephew comes over sometimes on Sundays. We watch a movie, and we decided to watch Dream Scenario. We're all big Nicolas Cage fans. It's hit or miss with Nicolas Cage. I don't love every Nicolas Cage movie that comes out, but every once in a while he makes a hit. And this one looked interesting. It's about a guy who's a professor of ants. And he's a very serious guy, but a very boring, kind of nerdy guy. And he's just a wimp, too, you know. And he doesn't stand up for himself. And it's just a great performance by Nicolas Cage. And in this, suddenly, a few people, his daughter is having dreams about him. But then it turns out that a few people are having dreams about him. And then most of the world is dreaming about him. And the dreams are they're in trouble and he's there, but he doesn't help them. He's just there, kind of walking across the scene, not paying attention to them, about to die. And it's the weird thing. And he doesn't know what this phenomenon is, but he wants to cash in on it. Not to be famous as the dream guy, but to publish his book on ants. He's always wanted to do, because one of his old colleagues is publishing his idea, but he never did anything. He never wrote a book or a paper on it. It was just his idea. And when a colleague wrote an article on it, got credit for him, it made him all mad. But again, this guy's a wuss. He hasn't done anything special in his life. So his wife isn't dreaming about him, which kind of upsets her. And there's a really funny scene in there where he asked her, I'm spoiling the movie, by the way, spoilers here. If you want to see it, you should. Let me just pause right here. If you want to see it, watch it. Now, fast forward, 5 minutes? I'll be done, I promise. I'll look at the clock 5 minutes from now. Here we go. So, his wife asked him, he asked his wife what she dreams about him as. And he dreams about this funny big head suit like he wore at Halloween, and maybe he saves her. And it's just it's ridiculousness. Because he's hoping that, maybe he'd be naked on a horse or whatever, and all sexy and everything. And it's really funny. There's a lot of funny scenes in the movie. But eventually, all these dreams start turning into nightmares. So now everyone hates him. But he's not the one killing them. It's their nightmare that he's killing them in. And even he has a nightmare of himself killing himself, And, the guy just can't catch a break, And he's not the best guy in the world. Like I say, he's a weenie, but he's getting treated badly. He's been ostracized by family, his work, everyone. And, just life just spirals out of control as he gets separated from his wife and family and stuff. And so it just gets worse and worse. Well, in it looks like his wife has completely left him. He wants his wife back, but he can't. She's actually seeing some guy at work, which he was suspecting that she was all along. At the end, it gets really weird because after the dreams, the nightmares stop. He disappears. He goes. Things get to their breaking point. He kind of disappears from the world, and the world starts dreaming about him. But they make dream bracelets now, where you can enter other people's dreams. It opened up ideas to how to rework this phenomenon into a technology. Well, you see him. He has a bracelet on at the end, and he's trying to get into his wife's dream because he wants to see his wife again. And there's a very touching ending where he appears, his wife is tied to a post in the middle of a fire, looking like a witch burned at the stake, and she's in trouble. He comes out in the big head costume that she wanted him to, come out in. It's the silly dream sequence she wanted. And he saves her, and she's all happy, and they start dancing in the street in front of their house. Leaves are falling, and, he's still got his big head costume on, and he says, I wish this wasn't a dream. And suddenly everything reverses and the leaves start falling up, and he floats away. Very similar to the opening sequence where his daughter has a dream that she's floating away as leaves are floating up into the sky. And then that's how it ends. He doesn't have his wife back and everything. He's alone and everything. It's really weird. It reminds me a little bit of Vanilla Sky. I love Vanilla Sky, by the way. I think that's a great Tom Cruise movie. You haven't seen it. It pisses a lot of people off. But I thought it was very thought-provocative there. And so I enjoyed it. But this one is not as good as Vanilla Sky, but it's in the ballpark, and it's interesting. It's an interesting watch if you want to watch it. All right, so there you go. Movie review there. Told everyone 5 minutes, and it looks like I only went 4. Screw it. All right, we're on to the next topic here. Um, let's see. It's about game nights here. My game night, just to let everyone know, haven't played any games over the weekends in a month now. My gaming group is gone. They're officially broken up after years, yay, even over a decade of having a strong at one time in my life. I had 16 people. I had 16 people. I remember I had them all play zombies one time. We used to play zombie game with 16. 16. I didn't think anything of it. And in fact, I kept them and we did, what did I do? 6 and 6 and 6. There were four that got thrown in the mix here too, but I'd always switch them up. We did 5 and 6 player expansions. I always got 5 and 6 player expansions for my games to have them over. Then I started playing 4 player games and then having a 2 player table at one time and just flipping people over, every other week, 6 and 6 on this, because it went down to 12, I think, and then eventually it got to 8, and I was doing 4 on 4 and loving it, and then just basically 6, and I still thought that was really big. I hated the 2 player table, but didn't know what else to do. Then it started getting down to just 4 players a night, and that was great, and I was still loving it, and doing 4 on 4 and 3 on 3, just kind of splitting it up that way. And over the years, it's slowly been dying. I seem to pick up new people, but the numbers keep to seem dwindling. And I'll be honest, it was at this time next year when I knew I'd be in the situation. I knew I'd be in the situation, but suddenly the timeline has moved up a year, and I am sitting here with no one to play. My nephew stopped playing with me last year. We used to play every week. Now, maybe my nephew will come over and we'll play a couple of games a month. That's it, tops. That's it. I only get him once a month, if that. But once a month is the only time he'll come over, and everyone else is gone. My buddy, my nursing buddy, I would play with him on one of his 3 days off, and it was so much fun. But he decided that he just didn't want to play he told me that his excuse was that they wanted to, since they're going to BGG Con this year, they want to slow down on playing games every week, so that way it'll be more exciting when they go to the conference. What? Doesn't make any sense. He just doesn't want to play every week, and I get that. I'm not upset by that at all. In fact, I feel bad. I hope I wasn't pushing him to come over every week. I don't want anyone coming over if they don't want to come over. I don't want to bother or twist everyone's arm to come out and hang out. If they don't want to play board games every week, that's fine. He only has 3. He's on 4 nights and off 3, and so one of those nights I'd work around his schedule. We'd do it on Tuesday or Thursday or whatnot, maybe on a weekend. But I always made sure to give him time, and at the best, he was probably one of my closest friends, just because I saw him all the time. But maybe his wife wanted to see him more often. One of the 3 nights he was off. I don't know. I think they just both wanted a break. And they said, we may do once a month. And they haven't. They haven't called since. And like I said, I'm not upset. It is what it is, and that's fine. Again, I don't want to force anyone to come over if they don't want to. But they're done. They're done for the most part. And the thing was, they were leaving next year anyway. So I knew I'd lose them eventually, but it just happened a year earlier. Sadly, because I really had a lot of fun playing with them. And, I hope it wasn't anything I said or did. I don't think it is. I didn't seem to offend them. I just think they wanted just a break and didn't want to come over every week. I get that. My other friend, he rarely comes over. And he was rarely coming over anyway, maybe once a month. And he's always busy doing something. He's always chronically ill. He's the guy who's always sick or thinks he's going to be sick. And to be honest, he's kind of annoying. I've had him in my game group for so long. Like, one of my old gaming group people, forced my hand and made me invite him. And I've been stuck with him. I lovingly have been stuck with him ever since. I was in the guy's wedding. I was happy for him. I'm still happy for him. But, he's a little bit, he's a little bit eccentric to mess with. To be around. He never listens to the rules when I go over them. Never. And then he accuses me of not telling him how to play the game, even though his wife's sitting there going, "Yes, he just told you how to do it. You weren't listening." He never listens. He's the last time he came over, he spent the whole time belching, not apologizing, just belching, and every like 8th belch, just going, "Oh," like it hurt him because. Remember, he's chronically sick. He's chronically in pain or whatever. He just thinks he's always sick. So it's just gotten to the point where I just rarely have him over. And to be honest, I tried inviting him over past 4 weeks, but he's been sick 2 of them. and the other weeks he's been busy. So I'm just not going to bother him anymore. It's too much to deal with at once. And I knew that was dying on the vine too, because he, like you said, he came over once every month or 6 weeks. He rarely came over. So now I'm down to zero. No one. I got to play with my nephews. They had spring break last week, and they came over I think on a Monday or something. I played one game with them that had gotten in, and that was it. And I wanted to play more. I want to play more, but it's just not going to happen. So, and going on the weekend without a game night, that's killing me, because that's the thing I look forward to. The things I look forward to in the week, I look forward to sitting with Wes or Benjamin and whatnot, and Mikey doing a Saturday morning Sam Flange, doing this podcast, Prince of the Universe. I love that. That's fun. That's my little break in the week. But my reward for the weekend, after watching kids 5 nights a week all by myself and all day on Saturday, is the worst day. It's the worst day for me, because I am. I've told everyone my thing here. I cleaned up for 2 hours tonight. Put the kids to bed, cleaned up for 2 hours straight. Just because I cannot stand messes, and the whole place is just getting cruddier and cruddier. So once you start cleaning, you just go for it. Really, really messed up on installing fluorescent bulbs today. One bust on me. I don't know how that happened, and then I tore the little cover, and I don't know how I'm going to replace that. I don't know where to go. But I feel like a super idiot today. But that didn't make me happy, because it should be easy. I've replaced fluorescent bulbs several times, never cracking the cover ever, and everything went wrong. Everything went wrong tonight. But anyway, usually, on Saturdays it's all screaming, crying, fighting, screaming again, fighting, crying. It's constant. It's constant all day Saturday. Just me until 5 o'clock, maybe later. Could be till 10 or whatever on a Saturday. Just depends on what all the missus has planned. But she's usually gone at 7:30 that morning, and doesn't get back to the earliest 5. And at the latest, it's gonna be 11:30 or so, 10 or something, 10:30, because she's out with her theater friends. And but my one reward for such an awful day. I love my kids, but oh my gosh, it's just hectic all day long. Is that I get a board game night, either on Friday, to make up for my huge, bad, horrible day I'm going to have the day before, or that night, Saturday night, get the game going. I've even personally thanked even my annoying friend for coming over last minute, because I was about to go crazy if I didn't do something. I feel like my day is wasted. And for the past 4 weeks, I felt like my time has been wasted, because I just have nothing to do. And I want to play games. That's what I want to do. I feel like a loser. I'm opening up, looking at games, wishing I could play them, looking at solo versions. I played a few games solo, but I don't want to be a solo player. That's no fun. So, and then some of the solo rules are just so hard. You have to understand each iconography on cards and whatnot, but I digress. Anyway, so I'm trying to change things, trying to make things better, because the thing is, though, man, I need a break. I need a break. I need something. I need something. My big reward for the weekend, like I said, is always the games. I love the board games. And so how do you rebuild? How do you rebuild? Well, I thought about, there's a buddy of mine that works with me. He has a wife. They have a kid, same age as my young ones. So why don't I invite them over? Well, I tried this before, not with him, but with someone else. I tried inviting a couple over that had a baby as well. And we got one game played. It took over 2 hours. It wasn't a 2-hour game, but that was because we both had to deal with crying babies, feed them, hold them, but put them down, put them to bed. It was just a disaster. And after they left, I thanked them and everything, and they want to come back. But the thing is, though, it was an awful experience. It was awful, because I'm not mad at them, because I understand when their baby needs to. Oh, hold on, I need to change my baby's diaper. Okay. Oh, dang it, I just changed my baby's diaper and I can smell them already, so time out. We just had to keep taking breaks. I feel bad, and I still feel bad, because on Friday nights and Saturdays, I have to break in between one of our games. Usually our first game, I have to say, hey guys, I'm sorry, I need to feed, change, and put my kids to bed. That's 15 minutes they have to sit there while I, I try to be as fast as I can, but, I'm trying to feed them a bottle, get them changed, put them in bed, and get back as fast as I can. And they got nothing to do, and it's awful. It's awful. I hate doing it. I feel awful for doing that. But it's the only thing I can do because I'm just me, and then I have to run away and check on them every once in a while if they're not sitting there. Usually on the last hour, I'll turn on the TV. I'm not a TV guy for them, but on the last hour, I'll turn on the TV. At least they'll stay in the room, but I always have to keep watching on them because sometimes they'll run off and I gotta go get them before they cause mayhem. My children causing mayhem, but with the other couple, it didn't work out. Now I know my work buddy would love to come over, and I'd love to have him over, but I just know from past experiences, not with him, but with another couple, it just didn't work out. So that's not an option right now. And there's no one really else at work that I think would want to come over and play games. Um, anyway, I tried going to my church, looking around. There's maybe one guy, I really don't know him that well. I don't know if he'd want to. I don't even know if I would enjoy having him over. I don't know. I don't know. But it doesn't hurt. Maybe I have to ask. I just need to, build up the courage just to kind of strike up the conversation and ask. I just haven't yet. There was one kid that there's a high school at my church, and those kids come over every blue moon. And, I would love to have them over every other week. But the parents were like, hey, during school, no. I was like, oh, that's fine. They said, wait till the summer. And I said, okay, because it's the weekend to me. I don't care. But, and I know the parents and everything. Well, they weren't mean. They were just saying, hey, man, it's just crazy during the school week because they got piano recitals, they got soccer games and all this stuff. And they said, we just have so much going on. Because I was asking, because they came over like once or twice in between breaks and stuff. Not during spring break, but once before spring break and once before they went to school, started school. And they just said it's just very hectic right now, and they just couldn't get the schedules together. But in the summer, it'd be better. I was like, that's fine. I'm not going to push. Again, I'm not going to make anyone come. And so I was like, that's fine. And I have one kid who used to come over. I used to pick up him and his brother way back in the day, and then his brother's got his driver's license. They used to come over. Well, this past year, they haven't come over at all. And I kept texting the brother saying, hey, y'all are invited. You want to come? And, it was like every couple of months I'd ask him, and he'd say, no, I'm busy. No, we're busy. No, we're busy. Well, at Christmas, I think it was, past Christmas, I cornered his little brother. I said, man, you and your brother, every time I invite y'all are always so busy. He went, what are you talking about? I'm bored every weekend. Have you invited us over? And then that's when I found out the older brother did not want to come over anymore. He didn't want to play board games anymore. But he never even told his younger brother, and he didn't want to drive him over there. And then I realized, like, wait a minute. Okay, your older brother didn't play games anymore. He went, oh, no, he doesn't play games anymore. I was like, oh. So I was like, and I started laughing. Well, then I didn't think about inviting him because I already had my gaming group. And so for the past few weeks, I've been trying to catch him, at church. But again, I'm the one that has to pick up the kids and, get them to the car. So I always miss him. He always leaves really quick. But this time I called him first before picking up my kids from the nursery and said, hey, I said, you and I playing board games. We're playing board games. And he goes, good. Now? It's like, hey, that's the spirit. No, I'm not going to kidnap you now, but I'm going to get you this weekend. So hopefully this weekend I'll have one person to play with. And hey, if that's all it is just two players, I'm fine with that. Because I knew, like I said, I knew this day would come. Came a year earlier. But board games are my joy. It's one of the joy. It's my favorite hobby, something I love doing, and don't care if I win or lose, just want to have fun. And, if it's just me and this kid, he's 16. He's going to get his license, his permit. But the thing is, though, his learning permit, he can't drive at night anyway. But, and maybe his younger brother, I don't know how old he is now, maybe he'll want to come over. Either way, it'll be fun if it's just the two of us playing some games, getting some games played. I can do something with my weekends now. And, who knows? Maybe just add on from there, rebuild. But I'm determined to do it because, gosh darn it, it's a hobby I love. And I gotta keep holding out at least for a few more years until my girls get old enough to where they can start playing. They can play a few of the easy vintage games now. But, and maybe next year they'll play most of my vintage games, So they're getting older to play the vintage games, but, it's still about 5-6 years away from playing some of the bigger ones. Probably 6-7 years away, maybe 8. I don't know. But until then, I want to keep gaming because, like I said, it's my favorite hobby. It's fun. Gosh darn it, I need a little fun. Anyway, speaking of fun, probably going to have a special guest back on here. Don't know who it'll be. Hope it'll be Wes, maybe Heath, maybe Brandon. Who knows? Got a plethora of friends to talk to on Prince of the Universe. And folks, let me know in the comments. Have you seen Dream Scenario? What'd you think? Have you seen Madam Web? I pity you if you have.
And then what other good streaming movies are out there? I saw Code 8. Thought that was pretty good too. Forgot about that. The sequel wasn't as good, but Code 8 about people with superpowers, but not a superhero movie. Anyway, that's it for now, folks. I'll see you next time on Princes of the Universe.